Spider-Man the Animated Series didn't just show up out of the blue. It dropped in 1994 during a huge wave of superhero hype. Batman the Animated Series was already changing the game. X-Men was also dominating Saturday mornings. This wasn't Marvel's first rodeo with the wall crawler. They tried Spider-Man cartoons before, from the psychedelic 60s version to the meme-worthy Spider-Man pointing era. But this was the Spider-Man for the 90s. Fox Kids and Marvel brought in a guy named John Semper Jr. to run the show, and instead of keeping it light and one-off like most cartoons back then, Semper said no, we're doing a full arc. He wanted to tell long-form stories. Continuity, character growth, emotional fallout, all that stuff makes Spider-Man who he is, and he pulled it off over 5 seasons. We watched Peter Parker deal with villains, guilt, clones, multiverses, marriage proposals, alternate dimensions, all while trying to pay rent and pass his midterms. The character designs were bold, clean, comic book sharp, and remember those 3D cityscapes? Fully rendered CGI backgrounds. Groundbreaking for the time, kinda hilarious in hindsight. But back then, it felt futuristic. It felt cool, it felt new. Watching Spider-Man swing through a digital New York, that was magic. It had limits though. Censorship was kind of intense. Guns couldn't look real. Nobody could actually on screen even if they clearly did. Somehow, the writers found ways around it. They made the show work by leaning into emotion, consequences, and character. You never saw Uncle Ben get shot, but you felt it every single episode. Christopher Daniel Barnes voiced Peter Parker like a guy who was always on the edge of a breakdown, which honestly is perfect. Peter should sound like he's barely holding it together. The villains were iconic, the supporting cast was deep, and the tone walked a tightrope between superhero action and soap opera level drama. This wasn't just punch 'em ups. This was a show where you could binge watch 6 episodes and still not know if MJ was a real person or a clone. As the series went on, the stories got even wilder. Multiverse stuff, time travel, clone sagas, but somehow it all felt earned. For the kids in the 90s, this was our Spider-Verse. We didn't even know what to call it back then, but this show planted the seeds. Spider-Man the Animated Series didn't just make Spidey cool again, it turned him into a myth. And for a lot of us, this was the MCU before the MCU. It taught us about consequence, about sacrifice, and yeah, about great power and great responsibility. This is where the web really started, with Spider-Man the Animated Series. And it's what we're going to talk about today in this episode of Toonology. So welcome to the lab.